Welcome back to Horror Movies.
Today, I will be showing you a horror/thriller film from 2012 titled Sinister. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. At the beginning of the movie, we see a horrifying scene of a family of 4 being hung on a tree. The scene changes to a man moving into a new house with his family. The man's name is Ellison Oswald. He is a famous true crime writer best known for his hit book, Kentucky Blood. His wife Tracy helps him move the boxes. Inside are his son Trevor and daughter Ashley adjusting to their new home. As the couple works, the town sheriff visits them. Ellison's last true crime book had caused a criminal to set free. The sheriff doesn't want Ellison to cause the same scene in the town, so he advises him to leave. Ellison, however, disagrees. Tracy suspects that Ellison has bought a home near a crime scene again. She asks him, but Ellison lies and says no. However, Ellison chose this home because it is the house that the murders we saw at the beginning of the movie occurred in. A family named the Stevensons lived in the house a few years ago. One day, they were found hanging from a tree in their backyard. However, the youngest daughter of the family, Stephanie, was disappeared after the event. Ellison plans to write about the family in his next book, but before that, he has to investigate their death and find out what happened to Stephanie. Ellison goes to the kitchen and, in fascination, stares at the tree the family was hung on. Sometime later, the family unboxes their belongings. Ellison goes to the attic to place the empty boxes. However, when he enters it, he sees a singular box on the floor. He opens the box to find several reels and a projector to play the reels in. The reels have events from different years marked in them. He takes the box with him with the intention of investigating it later. At dinner that night, Tracy complains to Ellison about the negative impact of his books on the kids. His work is too graphic for the kids to read, so Tracy wants him to always lock the door to his office. Later, as she is about to sleep, Tracy asks Ellison to consider writing something other than true crime, but Ellison insists his next book will be a hit. His last 2 books have flopped, so Tracy is worried about him. After everyone goes to sleep, Ellison goes to his office to work. He collects pictures of the death of the Stevenson family with notes beside them. He finds a picture of the attic from the police records but is surprised to see that the box he found earlier is missing. He concludes someone had put it there after the deaths. He gets the projector out of the box, hangs a white cloth on the wall, and sits down to watch the films. The first reel is titled Family Hanging Out 11. The film is of the Stevenson family hanging out in their backyard. They all play with each other and look happy. The person filing the clip isn't seen. Suddenly, the scene changes to the 4 of them being hung to the tree they were playing around. Ellison is shocked. As expected, Stephanie is present with the family through the fun part but is missing from the last clip. Ellison writes this on his notepad and goes to the backyard to look at the tree. When he comes back in, Ashley is wandering around the house looking for the bathroom. He helps her and gets back to work. Ellison then puts in the next reel. It is titled Barbecue 79. This film shows the Martinez family fishing by a lake near their house. They also have a barbecue picnic beside it. It is all fun and games, but suddenly the clip changes. It is now nighttime. The cameraman shows the family gagged and tied inside their car. The car hood has a demonic symbol painted on it. The family lies beside several bottles of gasoline. The cameraman lights the car on fire, killing the whole family. Ellison is then about to watch the next reel when a noise from outside distracts him. He goes out to check but finds no one. Then he suddenly realizes that the noise is coming from one of the moving boxes. Just then Trevor comes out of the box yelling. Ellison tries to calm him down but to no avail. He then takes him outside. Tracy comes out too. Trevor finally wakes up but doesn't remember how he ended up in the box. The parents think it is his night terror. The next morning, the family eats breakfast together. Tracy takes the kids to school and Ellison gets back to work. He plays the reel he stopped at last night. The reel is named Pool Party 66. In the film, a family is at their pool playing and enjoying themselves. The scene abruptly changes and it is now nighttime. A green substance is seen inside the glass they were drinking from earlier. Then we see the family tied to pool benches. The benches have ropes tied onto them. Someone pulls the ropes, making them drown in the pool. A strange figure is seen inside the food for a few seconds. It seems to be watching the family die. Ellison zooms onto the picture and looks at it closely. Just then the projector behind him started to burn. Ellison puts the fire out but the projector is destroyed. He then learns to play the reel on his computer through the internet. Tracy and the kids get back home. Furious, Tracy tells Ellison that Trevor had drawn people hanging on a tree on the whiteboard. Tracy blames Ellison's books and they argue. Later at night, Ellison goes to his office again to continue the reels. The next one is titled Sleepy Time 98. First, we see an empty kitchen with glass containing the same green substance from the earlier video. Then we see the demonic symbol again. The cameraman goes to a room where a couple is bound on a bed. There, he cuts their throat open. He enters the other room and does the same to a kid. Ellison zooms into a part of the video and finds an address. With that information, he manages to find the case file on the internet. It says that the youngest kid of the family had gone missing after the incident. The similarity between this case and the Stevenson family's case astounds Ellison. Suddenly, the lights go off. Ellison hears noises from outside. As he checks, he hears that the noise is coming from the attic. He climbs up and looks around with his phone's flashlight. Ellison finds a board with drawings that seem to be made by kids. In them, all of the murders he has watched so far are depicted. Strangely, a figure called the Mr. Boogie is in every drawing. The attic floors are weak, so when Ellison moves, it breaks, sending him down to the floor. It is almost morning now. The police arrive at the house as Ellison claims that there was an intruder. His leg is hurt from the fall. The deputy suspects that the noises were made by squirrels, as there are no signs of an invasion. The deputy is Ellison's fan. He tells him of his wish to be included in the acknowledgments part of his new book. Ellison asks him for help. He wants the deputy to provide reports of these murders to him. The deputy agrees and leaves. Last night, he has taken pictures of the drawing in the attic. He investigates it and watches the videos of the murders on repeat. Ellison then makes a surprising revelation. In every video, a tall figure stands in the background. Its face doesn't look human. Sometime later, the deputy police officer calls him. He gives Ellison the name and address of one of the families in the video. The murders took place at different times and in different cities across the country. Then he finds that the Stevenson family lived in the house where the Miller family were murdered before moving to Pennsylvania. After the call, Ellison finds a video he had accidentally taken when he fell from the attic earlier. He is terrified to see several hands pushing him down. He quickly shuts the laptop. Later that night, a noise wakes Ellison. He goes into his office to check and finds the projector displaying the picture of the Stevenson family displayed on the wall. He turns it off. Then Ellison watches the tree in the backyard through the window. Suddenly, the figure from the video clips appears in the backyard. But it disappears at a second glance. Ellison goes out and sees Trevor having another night terror and behind the bushes. After bringing Trevor inside, Ellison goes out again when a dog appears before him. While he is distracted by the dog, we see the missing children of all the families that were murdered standing behind Ellison. However, he doesn't notice them. The deputy officer visits Ellison with the reports of murder the next afternoon. He is fascinated by Ellison's office. He notices the picture of the demonic symbol pasted on the mood board. The deputy suggests Ellison talk to a professor named Jonas, who is an expert in occult symbols. Later that day, Ellison gets on a conference call with Jonas and tells him about the symbol. Jonas studies it and reveals that the symbol represents an ancient pagan deity named Bugul. Bugul is known as the deity that feeds on children's souls. He is known for killing families and taking one of their children to consume their soul slowly. Jonas suspects that the murders are not any single person's doing but rather the initiation of a cult. Ellison now wants nothing to do with the case. He keeps the reels and the projector back in the box, locks his office and goes to sleep. However, that night he is awoken by a noise. He sees the office's doors wide open. Inside, the projector is set up and the film of the Stevenson family hanging is playing. Surprised, Ellison turns the projector off and looks for an intruder with a baseball bat in his hand. While Ellison goes around the house, we see the missing children lurking around him. But he doesn't notice them. Stephanie's ghost appears before Ashley. The little girl looks at it in fear. After a while, Ellison falls asleep on the couch. In the morning, Ashley draws a picture on the wall and is scolded by her mother. Ellison is surprised to see that it is a picture of Stephanie. Ashley reveals that she is the girl who lived in the house before them. Tracy figures Ellison's real intentions for buying this house. She cannot believe that Ellison lied to her and is furious at him. The two get into a huge argument. That night, Ellison is again woken up by a noise. This time he realizes that the noise is coming from the attic. Even the attic's ladder is down. Curious, Ellison climbs up to look inside. As he peeks into the room, Ellison is beyond terrified to come face to face with all the missing children. They watch a clip of Bugul. The children stare at Ellison. Just then, Bugul appears in front of him. Ellison slips off the attic door and falls to the ground. A few seconds later, someone throws the box of reels and the projector through the Arctic's door. Ellison then brings the reels and the projector to the backyard to burn them. Tracy comes outside and inquires about what he is doing. Ellison urges her to wake the kids and pack the essentials. He doesn't want to stay at the house anymore. Tracy doesn't ask any questions. The family then drives away from the house. Ellison drives all night and reaches a new house in the morning. He calls the movers to bring their belongings from the previous house. That morning, Ellison receives an email from Professor Jonas. Curious, he calls him. Jonas has researched Bugul and found out that the deity has the ability to possess pictures and films. Ellison finally figures out that the film of the murders was possessed. He asks Jonas what happens if the possessed pictures are destroyed, but Jonas has no answer. After the call, Ellison deletes all the pictures and videos of the murders. The family's belongings arrive. Ellison is again moving the boxes to house's attic. He finds the box of reels and projector in the attic. The films have followed them to the new house. However, an extra envelope in the box catches Ellison's eyes. It says extended cut endings. Ellison is about to play the new clips when he gets a call from the deputy, who claims to have found another secret about the murders. The murdered families had lived in each other's previous homes. Each new murder occurred shortly after the family moved from the crime scene into a new residence. Hence, now that they have moved from the previous house to the new one, they are basically next in line to be murdered. Not wanting to believe it, Ellison cuts the phone. He then plays the new clips. A new secret is revealed. The clips of their family dying were filmed by the missing kids themselves. Horrified, Ellison watches the video of the kids killing their family with a smile on their faces. Ellison begins to feel lightheaded as he watches it. When he looks at his teacup, he finds the same green liquid from the videos. A note that says "Good night, Daddy" in Ashley's handwriting lies under his cup. As he realizes that the tea was drugged, he falls unconscious. Ashley watches him as he falls. Ellison wakes up after a while. Tracy and Trevor lie beside him on the ground. All three of them are tied. Ashley stands in front of him with an axe and a video camera. She puts the camera at a better angle and hits her father with the axe. Sometime later, we see that the walls are covered in blood. Ashley has drawn a unicorn, cat, and Bagul symbol on the wall. Later, she is in Ellison's office drawing Ellison, Tracy, and Trevor's bodies decapitated. The little girl has beheaded her family. Then the missing kids watch Ashley from inside a video. They run away when they see Bagul appear near Ashley. Bagul then takes Ashley with him into the clip. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.